Good morning. Please join us as we begin by singing together.
Good morning. I'm Jen Thomas, your Member Engagement Coordinator, and it's my privilege to welcome you to First Unitarian Church. And I offer a special welcome to those of you that are joining us online. We're a multi-generational community that strives to nurture the individual spirit and together build a beloved community. Whether you're here in the sanctuary today or joining us online, we're so glad to have you. Following the service, I invite you to join fellow congregants for social hour just below the sanctuary in Fuller Hall. And if this is your first time here or you're back after some time away, we invite you to join me and Reverend Tom for a special welcome circle. We'll be meeting just over here to my left. And it's just a chance for us to meet you and answer any questions you might have about the community. A few additional announcements this morning. We find ourselves in the middle of the holiday season and would like to bring your attention to some of the upcoming services and events. Please join us for our annual solstice service on December 21st at 7 p.m. And on Christmas Eve, we will offer two services. In the morning, we will also have the Christmas pageant, which has been a tradition at First Unitarian for almost 100 years. And on Christmas Eve, we hold a candlelight service that begins at 8 p.m. Community circles will be forming in January, and this will be a wonderful way for you to meet and know other congregants while deepening your own spiritual connection. To learn more about community circles, you can attend a preview. One is happening today in the Daisy Bingham Room, which is at the back of Fuller Hall in the coffee area, and that will take place starting at 12 p.m. and led by Reverend Allison. Otherwise, there are two more ways to take part in a preview. There is a Zoom session that will be this afternoon, and there are links in the front step to that. And then also on Tuesday, December 17th, there will be another Zoom preview. Also today and next Sunday, the Alliance will be holding their annual Treasures and Bakes sale in the Buchanan Atrium. There will be lots of gift ideas and baked goods to enjoy, all while getting your holiday shopping done. And if you haven't seen the gingerbread houses yet, you need to go take a peek. As the Israel-Palestine war continues, so does our letter writing to elected officials urging a ceasefire and adherence to the international law and humanitarian aid in Gaza. Even if you've written before, you're invited to continue to bear witness by joining our UU letter writing effort in Fuller Hall. Love at the Center called us to act this end of war, to act for an end to war. We are excited to share that the 13 Salmon Shower Project has just received a $20,000 grant from the Unitarian Universalists for Social Responsibility. Isn't that wonderful? The timing is wonderful as we will open our doors to the shower guests on Wednesday, January 17th. If you're interested in being an on-site volunteer or assisting the shower project in other ways, please look for the volunteer interest form in the e-news. For those who want to be on-site volunteers, our operations training will begin on Wednesday, January 10th. Now let's take a moment to greet our neighbors.
Jen Thomas will light our chalice this morning. There it is. We are Unitarian Universalists. We light this chalice in faith, in hope, and in love. And last week we lit, today we will light our second Advent candle. Last week we lit the candle for hope. This week we added to it a candle for peace. Reverend Allison wrote these words for our second Advent candle. We kindle the light of understanding, not the glossing over of difference. We kindle the light of reconciliation, not the lack of accountability. We kindle the light of peace, not the absence of conflict. Words for our call to worship today come from Maya Angelou, Touched by an Angel. We, unaccustomed to courage, exiles from delight, live coiled in shells of loneliness until love leaves its high, holy temple and comes into our sight to liberate us into life. Love arrives, and in its train come ecstasies, old memories of pleasure, ancient histories of pain. Yet if we are bold, love strikes away the chains of fear from our souls. We are weaned from our timidity. In the flush of love's light, we dare be brave, and suddenly we see that love costs all we are and will ever be, yet it is only love which sets us free. Let us sing together now, All Beautiful, the March of Days. Let's join now in our responsive reading, words from Billy Collins. But it is hard to speak of things, how the voices of light enter the body and begin to recite their stories, how the earth holds us painfully against its breast made of hummus and brambles, how we who will soon be gone regard the entities that continue to return greener than ever. Spring water flowing through a meadow and the shadow of clouds passing over the hills, and the ground where we stand in the tremble of thought, taking the vast outside into ourselves. Let's sing together now our doxology, Spirit of Life.
You know how on NPR, it doesn't matter which program you listen to on NPR, your favorite programs always have a moment where they thank the whatever program plus. For me, my programs are Throughline and Code Switch. They thank me for being a Throughline Plus subscriber or a Code Switch Plus listener. And somehow that tricks us into believing that money that we push toward those programs doesn't just end up in some big general pot somewhere. That somehow we think that this dollar pushes this program just a little bit further into the notice of the bigwigs at NPR. We know that it's a trick, but we do it anyway, and we feel grateful. We feel grateful for the bumper sticker or the coffee mug they send us to say thanks. It's the same here. Not that anybody's trying to trick you, but all the money that you put into the plate just goes into some big general pot, and then the bigwigs decide what to do with it. And they rely on our faithfulness, and they rely on our trust to support the things in this church that are important to you. It's just a little signal that says, before you start talking about cuts, look at this. There's no magic in the money that you put in the pot on this Music and Worship Sunday. It's just a sign that you can show that you support this church, that you want this church to be healthy enough to support the ministry of music that has been vibrant in this community for more years than I have been alive. If you'd like, in times of critical need, in times of crisis, or in times of financial stress for this church and the bigwigs that run it, to know that this music ministry is important to you, I invite you to give generously in the spirit of generosity and the spirit of love this morning for this music ministry and for all that it brings to our community. Your gift will be generously received. Gratefully received. There's a G word in there somewhere. Thank you.
Every Sunday, we make space in our service to hold up the concerns of our community life together. You can light candles of intention in one of our side galleries. You can leave prayer intentions to be held by our ministers and by our lay ministers. And particularly in this season, to note that pastoral care is always available in this congregation from our ministers and lay ministers. This is a tender time for many, and know that your church is here to support you. One concern to share this morning: former member Robin Henderson died on October 28th at the age of 80. Robin was very involved in our music program for many years, singing in our choir. Robin also loved playing piano and composing jazz compositions. He leaves 2 daughters, and we hold them in these days. Will you join me now in prayer? Spirit of life and of love, God of many names and no name at all, hear our prayers. We come, Spirit, in this special season, this time of anticipation and joy, this time of tenderness too, this time when we kindle lights, the lights of Hanukkah, the lights of the Advent wreath, soon the lights to mark the turning winter solstice. This time of waiting as we are present with the dark and all of its possibilities. In this time when we can be pulled in so many directions, remind us, Spirit, of what is most important: the bonds of family and community, this time to remember those who have gone before, this time when we celebrate the possibility of every child that is born, the possibility that lives in each and every one of us. May we have the space to recognize what is most precious, what is the most precious gift of this time. In this season, help us to nurture compassion and grace for ourselves and for others. May we know peace, and may we be nurturers of peace. In this season, may we know the ever-simmering presence of hope around us and within us. Bless us in this season. Bless us, Spirit, in all of our days. Amen. Let's take some time now to be together in silence. Let us sing together. We can remain seated in the bleak midwinter.
Between the last war and the next war, waiting for the northbound train that travels by the river, I sit alone in the middle of the night and welcome angels. Welcome back old hymns, old songs, all the music, the rhyme, and the rhythm. Welcome angels, archangels, welcome early guesses at the names of things. Welcome wings. I've grown tired of disbelief. What once was brave is boring. Welcome back to my embrace, stranger, visitor by the Jabbok. Welcome, wrestling until dawn, until it is my hip thrown out of joint, my pillow stone, my ladder of antique assumptions. Welcome what is not my own, glory on top rung coming down.
On a rock, head in hand, I sit. My hair now short and white, my tired wings rest at my side. Peaceful, still. Dawn. I watch the day come into being. The gentle approach of the sun, the world above, the world below, graced with light. And I, witness of thousands of dawns, can't help but remember this morning near my passing, a time long ago, when for a moment these wings, which define my very angelhood, became invisible. There was a spring festival in the countryside where I'd been sent. Adults and children alike danced and celebrated the end of winter's shelter, the bountiful green beginnings, the harvests to come. My task was very unique, you see, for I was sent to gather light. Our world then, our world now, both bleak and bright, always on the brink of night. So as the town people danced and sang, I opened my magic leather sack and let their light flow in. I went from town to town, danced and sang. I passed through people, greeted me with a generosity of spirit and gentle kindness. Yet seeking light, I had little time to respond in kind. When I arrived in the last village, just when I had almost enough light, I was stopped. "I've heard about you," said a young man, close to the age I was then. "You are the angel gathering light to save us all from the world's night." "That's right," I said, a little too proud for an angel, maybe. "But if you are truly an angel, then where are your wings?" I was puzzled for a moment. Surely they're my wings right there where they always are, strapped onto my back with heartstrings. But I tried to flap them. I looked behind me, nothing. Then, panicking, I looked into my magic bag. Nothing. Where is the light?
I'm Grace. That's what my father calls me anyway, although most days I'm not sure why. My friends call me Gray because I'm somewhere in the middle between black and white, boy and girl, angel and human. I do have wings though, and I'm 46 and still hip, so they're tattooed, and I've even got a piercing in my nose. So this is how it goes. We've been hanging around up here for a while now, waiting for heaven to fall, waiting for a call. Every day we look out across the sky, across the city, the urban playground for earthbound teenage angels. And every day we look, we see the city spread. We watch with dread the trees disappear, the rivers run dry. We anticipate the end of thousands of harvests. We watch with fascination angels in human form look without seeing, hear without listening, touch without feeling. I watch compassion disappear as if it were simply going out of fashion. Compassion, out of fashion, as I suppose my own wings might be, tattooed when I'm old and wise. So in a flurry, I transcend the borderland of the sky between you and me. I swoop down into the heart of New York City, of Portland, of Moscow. I creep quietly through graffiti-covered alleyways, looking for a message, looking for direction. I look into the eyes of the people passing by for a message, for direction. And on one corner sits a woman with a boy child. She looks at me with innocent eyes. I touch her face gently. She smiles, then cries. Around the bend, near the end of yet another shop-lined street, lies a man. I help him to his feet, and then I come to you. You look at me as if I were anything but heaven sent. You cannot see past my tattoos, my piercings, past all of me that is different from all of you. Yet I am also the same, you see, and so you let me take your hand. Let me show you compassion, I say. I lead you to what used to be a garden. It was your father's when you were a child, but you had forgotten, you see, and in the meantime, it became a parking lot. But look, I pointed, and there, pushing up through the pavement, a solitary red flower, unselfconsciously perfect. I remember, you assure me, and so I leave you graced, an adult child in the garden of your father.
I am a small angel, 12 years old to be exact. I have crooked teeth and tiny wings. I like them because they make me a little bit different from everyone else, and that makes me special. I know I'm a special angel for other reasons too. I'm one of the only angels who has a human friend. She's like me, 12. Where she lives, it's almost springtime. I thought it was, oh my gosh. And the flowers in her mother's garden are poking their heads up through the snow. But she's sad. At first I thought it was because she couldn't see her own wings. But I learned today it's because her best friend moved away and she doesn't know who to love anymore. She is what adults call lonely, but I am a young angel with a big heart and tiny wings. I know how to love. So I went to visit her before her bedtime the other night. As she sat there in her window, looking out at winter's end, she smiled as I danced and sang my song. She giggled, hiding her face in her hands. When I threw myself into the snow and flapped my wings, and when I got up, there was a picture of me left behind in the snow. I felt happy because the little girl had laughed. I felt happy because she could see love, like a picture in the snow.
Sweet child, I say here at dawn, from the rock of my old age, sweet children, what do we do when the snow melts, when love remains, although love's imprint is gone? Once upon a time, I told you I couldn't see my wings. Now, because they weren't there, not because they weren't there, but because in seeking light, I had forgotten how to give it. The energy of generosity, of compassion, of love is circular. Inside, we know no differently. Look and see. Hear and listen. Touch and feel. Each of us inside, a child in the garden, a flower pushing through pavement, an angel in the snow. Go.
Words of theologian Howard Thurman, The Singing of Angels. There must be always remaining in every life some place for the singing of angels, some place for that which is in itself is breathless and beautiful. Old burdens become lighter, deep and ancient wounds lose much of their old hurting. A crown is placed over us that for the rest of our lives we are trying to grow tall enough to wear. Despite all the crassness of life, despite all the hardness of life, despite all the harsh discords of life, life is saved by the singing of angels. Let us sing now a celebratory song, Angels We Have Heard on High. Please join me.
Angels
And so, as we go from this service today, as we go into the days of this season, may we be aware and awake for the singing of angels. As we have been blessed, may we be blessings. This is the day we have been given. Let us rejoice in it and be glad. Go in peace. Practice love. Amen.